Hello everybody, welcome again to my kitchen and to another episode of Swamp Yankee Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make some rice pudding. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast, it's tasty, it's a favorite of mine. I've had it for a long time, ever since I was a kid, so it's got a little bit of sentimental value to me, and maybe it'll become a favorite of yours too. This is another recipe that's good for you guys and gals out there that maybe you're not too good at cooking, or you don't like to, or you think you're not very good at it. Well, this is pretty simple. If you can boil water and stir stuff together, I think you'll be just fine. So you're looking at all the ingredients you need. It's pretty basic. You're going to need some rice. I have jasmine rice here. Any kind of white rice will work. Water, milk, vanilla, sugar, and some eggs. Oh, and also, I almost forgot, you can add some cinnamon. So I'm going to start by cooking some rice. The basic rule of thumb for cooking rice is for every cup of water you want a half cup of rice. And also remember, rice expands a lot when it cooks. It expands almost double. So keep that in mind when you're cooking this. Depending on the size of the baking dish you use, you're going to want to vary the amount of rice that you cook. So I'm going to add 2 cups of water and a cup of rice. So first I'll get this to a boil, I'll add my rice, I'll turn the heat down to a simmer, and I'll cover it and let it cook for a little while until the water is all evaporated and soaked into the rice. Give the rice a little taste test, make sure it's not crunchy, make sure it's soft. And then you're all set and ready to go. Okay, my water's boiling. I'm going to pour in my rice. Turn the heat down to a simmer. And just give that rice a stir. It kind of sticks to the bottom of the pot. I'm going to cover it. Keep an eye on this. Sometimes it does boil over. So just lift the lid off and blow the foam out of the way if it does do that. So I'm going to let this simmer for a little while until the rice is done. Okay, so I have my baking dish ready. This is a 9 by 9, I think. I'm going to pour the rice in there. Now, I did make a little bit extra rice, so I might have some left over. And of course, it's up to your personal preference as to how much rice you make. And I don't like too much rice. Just a layer like this on the bottom, I think, is plenty. So I still have a little bit of rice left over. I probably could have made 3/4 of a cup of rice maybe, instead of a whole cup. But I'll just have this later as a snack. It's no big deal. Now we're going to mix up the custard, which is very simple. It's just composed of milk and eggs. And I found that the best ratio for milk to eggs is for every 1 egg, you add 1 cup of milk. So using my calibrated eyeball, I think I want to put about 4 cups of milk in here. I think that'll be just right. So I'm going to add in 4 eggs. Now I'm going to whip the eggs up first before I add the milk. It's going to be easier to beat the eggs before there's any more liquid in there. And I'm going to try this cool little thing. Never used it before, but you just push it. Works kind of like a Yankee screwdriver. So this is our Yankee egg beater for our Swamp Yankee cooking. I think I'm faster if I use a whisk or a fork, but this definitely wins in the novelty department. Now into this I will add 4 cups of milk. The novelty wore out. I like the whisk. Now I'm going to add some vanilla extract. I don't really know how much to put in. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon or so. My mother and grandmother always just used the cap for measurement instead of using a spoon. I don't know why, but I just caught on to the same technique. Now I'm going to mix in the sugar. I don't remember exactly how much sugar I used last time, so I'm going to kind of wing it. And what I'm also going to do is just stick my finger in and taste it and see how sweet it is. Of course, you know, there's raw eggs in there, so I probably should tell you that I don't recommend that. But that's what I'm going to do. I don't like anything too sweet. So I'm going to start with a half cup of sugar. I think that'll be good. And you can adjust this to taste. Yep, that tastes just about right. A half cup of sugar for the 4 cups of milk and the 4 eggs tastes just about right to me. Just sweet enough to be a dessert, but not so sweet that it overpowers you and rots your teeth out. Now I'll put in some cinnamon. Again, I don't really use measurements. I'm going to say this is probably about a teaspoon for those of you that like to measure things. Again, to taste. If you want, you could put in some cloves or nutmeg or something as well. I don't think I've ever done that, but it might come out well. Now this would be a good point to turn on your oven. I'm going to set mine to about 350 degrees. And also, if you so desire, you can add some raisins. I'm not going to go overkill on these, but it's nice to bite into one every now and again, so I'll sprinkle a few in here. So now the last step is just to pour this in. Pour it in gently so you don't disturb all the rice. That way you keep it nice and even. Perfect. That's a perfect amount. Okay, oven's up to temperature. Slide this baby in there. Now this will take a while to bake. I'm going to start it at 30 minutes, and if that doesn't do it, I suspect it'll take about 45. Now the way to test that it's done, because every oven's a little different, the pan size will make a difference, how much you make. If you make a small batch versus a large batch, that'll change the cook time. So to make sure it's done, rather than going by a cook time, just grab the pan after you think it's done cooking and give it a little shake. And if the liquid sloshes around, it's obviously not done. But once you notice that it firms up a little bit and doesn't slosh, it should jiggle, but not slosh. That tells you that you're ready. Okay, so we're all set. It took about 45 minutes, and 15 minutes in I turned it up to 375. I had to change a heart on the temperature. So you see how that moves, but it doesn't really swish, it just kind of jiggles a little bit. That's just right. So now the toughest part is waiting for this to cool down. Okay, it's cooled down. Hasn't quite cooled down enough, but I'm impatient, so I'm going to give this a try right now. If you had some whipped cream, that would be just right. But I don't have any whipped cream, so I won't put any on it. Now you might notice how delicate the custard is. It's almost still liquid, but not quite. And that's just how I like it. If you like a stiffer custard, well, keep in mind it's still warm, so it will solidify more overnight. But if you do prefer a stiffer custard, just use more eggs for the same amount of milk. So let's give this a try. Oh, yep, hot. Definitely still hot. And definitely good. That came out well. Now, of course, this isn't the typical fluffy rice pudding that a lot of people are familiar with. And that's kind of what I like about this. Because you can get that fluffy rice pudding anywhere, and it's good, but there's something different about this. It's a pudding and it's rice, but it's so far removed from what a lot of people know as rice pudding. So I really suggest you give this a try. It's quick, it's easy, it's cheap, and you are sure to like it. So thanks for hanging out with me in the kitchen again tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy this rice pudding if you decide to make it. So, until next time, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button or the subscribe button if you haven't already. And thank you for watching, and come back for more.